We spend our entire lives trying to achieve the status of self-improvement, but maybe, just maybe, the point is being fully present in a conscious relationship. And by that, I don't mean in a romantic way. I mean with the 4 pillars of relationship, which is what this video is about. And if you haven't clicked the subscribe button yet, I invite you to do so now and follow us here at the Earth Tantra YouTube channel. Hello, I'm Tara Scubella, guide and founder of Earth Tantra. If you're longing for a slower and deeper way to be present with all of life, welcome, and I'm glad that you found us. In this video, we are not going to cover the techniques of being in a relationship, but we are going to introduce the 4 pillars in which Earth Tantra practices and builds presence and relationship to. So these 4 pillars are a collection of energy exchange and relationship building that Earth Tantra has been practicing over the past 10 years. And it's come down and kind of culminated into these 4 pillars: relationship with self, relationship with nature, relationship with others, and relationship with spirit. And so with relationship with self, diving a little deeper into your relationship outside of self-love or self-care. Yes, those are important, but peeling away those layers. So are you comfortable being alone? How about for days on end? Listening to your heart, being present with the thoughts that come into your head. Are you attuned to your body? Can you really feel the physical sensations and energetic movement in your body? And with that, can you trust your yeses and nos, your excitement, your sadness, being with the emotions that come up in everyday life? And some of them can be really hard, and some of them incredibly enjoyable. And as you are comfortable with these emotions and thoughts, can you be with them, witness them, be present with them without self-judgment? And so meeting self with authenticity, attunement to self, your nervous system, your breath, your triggers, your glimmers, and all of the above. So we always begin in Earth Tantra with relationship with self, landing into the body. And the second pillar in which we build relationship and presence with is relationship with nature. And we're so taught, especially in the last 5 to 8 years, spending time in nature is very healing. Yes, it is very healing. And what about spending time in nature, but without doing, without hiking, fishing, sports? What about just laying on the earth, maybe with absolutely nothing to do? When we think about even a few generations ago, during picnics, they would just simply lay on the ground or maybe at a beach with no plan, no itinerary, maybe some good food, and just be and relax all day. And those are also the times where we don't have shoes on. We don't have those aqua socks or sport sandals to disconnect us from the earth. We are literally touching our skin to the skin of the sand, of the grass, and of the dirt. And so that relationship of the earth supporting our nervous system, her resonance is a 7.83 hertz, which is also known as a Schumann resonance. I will pop in an additional video in the description so you can learn more about the practice of earthing, which is actually a little different than grounding. Grounding is a different practice, but they are also linked. But our relationship with earth, right? Sometimes we kind of freak out and we have this fear of bugs landing on us, the discomfort of grass itching our skin, the sun touching our skin, and there's ways to adapt, and there's also ways to embrace and recognize that our relationship to those elements, to water, etc., really support us. How does the earth nourish us? Through food and water, everything that we need here to live It doesn't need to be in a modern day society, but everything that is here on the earth is provided to sustain us. And then taking that to another level, what about the exchange, our energetic exchange with the earth? Even our breath, we take in oxygen, give out carbon dioxide, that exchange with the plants around us, the things that are unseen below us. What is our relationship, not only in here and in our heart space, but an energetic remembrance of the earth that is imprinted in us? So a very intimate relationship. Our attunement to the earth through the five senses, maybe the touch of a little bit of air on our skin, the smells around us. And what about as we spend time in nature, disconnecting from music, podcasts, our phone, to really sinking into the present moment and connecting with nature through the five senses? A very, very intimate space to be in and to be held with. And so as we continue the outward part of relationship, we started with self, nature. Now let's move on to others. And when I say others, this doesn't have to mean a romantic or sexual relationship with others. This could be our relationship with our family, our friends, our community, even strangers, even just an eye glance with somebody at the gas station could be a relationship exchange, smiling at a stranger. Even our pets. I like to consider and think of pets as a conscious human form, human-like form of consciousness. And so when we think about our relationship, maybe even our attachment, the way that we relationship with others, in that full presence, being with somebody in those places of not only joy and celebration, but also discomfort. Maybe even taking those connections to a little bit of an edge, like smiling at the stranger at the gas station as you cross paths. You can actually change and really impact somebody's day by just doing that. And also approaching relationships by releasing, what am I getting out of it? What am I giving this person? The art of giving and receiving is important. And sometimes when we can set that aside and just be with the energy and just be with the presence of a conversation, of stillness, of maybe no conversation. This could be eye gazing, or just laying next to somebody, or simply sitting next to them watching the sunset, and shifting into what is being created between the two of us in a state of just being. A very intimate state, and also very vulnerable state as well, as we create and grow relationships with others. So let's move on from the energy of self and nature and others to the unseen. This is what I like to call relationship with spirit, or maybe source, or life beyond earth as we know it. You could also consider this as your relationship maybe with the angels or God, or whatever language that you would like to use. And with this unseen, there's a really beautiful mystery about this. There's things that happen around us that we have maybe no concrete answers for. Maybe it's some ancestral energy. Maybe it is the attunement to nature itself, the cosmos, the universe, maybe to past lives. I mean, there's many different ways that we can weave in a language and words that help us relate to a relationship with spirit. So relationship with the mystery of. And this can also be a very vulnerable space, especially if we grew up one way and we are tuning into something else. If you're a highly energetic, sensitive person, you may be way more aware of the unseen than maybe somebody that isn't. And how is your relationship to the unseen? Is this mystery a fear? Does it bring up maybe more of a solidification, or maybe even more of a safe feeling for us and that connection of the unseen? Maybe your relationship is almost zero and it's something that you are really striving for. And as we know, if we really strive for something, it's harder to obtain and to achieve. And so relaxing into that relationship of spirit can open the doors in a different way. And sitting maybe in meditation or another practice of maybe prayer, maybe even a dream state could be your relationship with the unseen. And as we trust and build relationship with the unseen, that can also change the way that we even feel about ourselves and how we connect to self, to nature, and to others, as well as spirit. So that space of non-attachment, that space of divinity, of wisdom, of the mysteries of life. And so as you grow with your relationship with spirit, looking at this relationship as something that is very, very sacred, something that is dear to our heart, of that mystery of the unseen, and taking that sacredness and even weaving it into our other relationships with self, others, and nature. And that mystery piece of spirit and source has a direct relationship with all of the other pillars. And I think it's really important as we look at these 4 relationships that each relationship is a teacher for the next and the other relationship. And it doesn't have to go in that order. We can, look at this as a wheel of self, nature, others, and spirit. And so attuning to being open to messages from nature, spirit, ourselves, our wisdom and self, and from other people. As we end this video, I encourage you to ask yourself, what relationship steps forward for you right now that could use more attention and care? Is that relationship with self, nature, maybe another person, or even a pet, or a relationship with spirit? And I invite you to work on that this week. Sit with this other person, sit with yourself, spend some time in nature, meditate, pray, dance, whatever your jam is, and building relationship in full presence. Thank you so much for spending this time together. And if you haven't clicked subscribe, I invite you to do so now. And thanks for joining us here at Earth Tantra.